What up, y'all? If you're watching this video, then you're probably thinking about getting your CDL. Alright, so you want to get your CDL, right? The first thing I'm going to tell you is the hardest part of getting your CDL is actually getting up to go and get your CDL. You feel me? Once you're determined and you say, you know what, I'm going to go get it, and you just put your mind to it, you're going to be able to do it. You know what I mean? There's nothing really to it. You know, there's Class A and there's Class B. Class A, you could drive a tractor trailer. Class B, you could drive a straight truck, right? There's some people who say, I want to get my Class B first, then get my Class A. But, you know, it's really a waste of money because you're going to pay twice for school. If you're going to go for it, just go for the Class A. Because with the Class A, you could drive everything. You know, from a tractor trailer to a straight truck to a bus. You know what I mean? So, you know, if you're going to do it right. Go for the Class A, right? If you want to get your Class A, go to your local DMV. Ask them for a study book. You just have to study 3 chapters in that book, which is general knowledge, combination, and air brake, right? Once you study those 3, you go to the DMV, you take the exam. It costs like $10. You take all 3 of them. You might pass one, you might fail one, whatever. Whichever one you pass, you don't have to take it the next time. So let's say I went today, I took general knowledge, air brakes, combination. I passed air brakes, but I failed general knowledge and combination, right? Now I'll go tomorrow, I just have to take the other 2 that I failed. So, you know, it's not anything out of this world. It doesn't hurt to take it. You know, you fail, you go again the next day. That's how I did it, right? Once you pass the exam, the written exam, you sign up for a local CDL school. Your local CDL school, they're going to teach you how to drive, whatever the case may be. Yeah, it might be pricey for some people, but it's actually worth it because at the end of the day, you're going to get your money back. You know, it could change your life, and you're going to get your money back within the first few weeks of you working as a truck driver, right? If you want to get your CDL, you know, it could be life-changing. If you're in the NYC area, you could be looking at 6 figures, right, a year. You could look at jobs. You could be looking at jobs starting at like 100,000, you know, to drive local in New York City. You know, because, you know, we live in New York City. Other states and other places might be different. But in New York City, you know, the average is like, I want to say 100,000. You know, maybe it could be less depending on what you do. But I know that in heavy hauling, you're looking at probably like 100,000, maybe a little more. Just give or take, right? So, you know, it's worth it. You know, it's a career. It's, you know, it could be life-changing depending on your situation, whatever the case may be. Or it could be a good backup to have. You know, you could have your CDL as a backup. With that being said, you know, getting your CDL is, you know, it could be life-changing, but it's something that you gotta, once you get that and you get your job, it's not always gonna be happy and fine and dandy, you know what I mean? First of all, you got to be willing to wake up 1, 2, 3, 4 in the morning. That's number 1. Number 2, you're going to have your days where it's like, damn, why did I become a truck driver? You know, you might mess up the truck. You might get into a little accident, you know, and then you're going to be, it's stressful, especially if you're a hard worker and you're a dedicated worker. You don't want to mess up the truck and get blamed for it by the company or whatever the case may be. So those things are stressful. There is stress that comes with it, right? You're going to be working minimum 10 hours, maybe an average of even 12 hours, you know, as a truck driver. Depending on what job you do, there's jobs that go 14 hours a day, you know what I mean? Local. So, you know, you got to take the good with the bad, and if you really want to do it, like I said, you got to be willing to hustle. You got to be willing to get up, you know, get those loads done. You know what I mean? I got my CDL when I was 21. I'm now 29 years old. You know, and when I first got my CDL, and this is for everybody out there, when you first get your CDL, it's gonna be hard to find a job. One, they want experience. Two, you gotta have a clean license, right? So it's gonna be hard at first to get a job, to land that first job. But when you are given that first opportunity, don't worry about the pay. Just get the job, get the experience, and once you get the experience, then you have more leverage, and you have that under your belt, and you could go and get a better job. You know what I mean? When I first started, my first job, I was only making $125 a day to drive 6 hours away from New York City, 4 hours away from New York City, to New Hampshire, to Connecticut, to Massachusetts. It was horrible, but I needed the experience, so I did it, Sometimes the experience is worth more than the money at that point, you know what I mean? From there, I went on to making $245 a day, which was still terrible, to go all the way to Pennsylvania, 4 hours away. And then when I would get there, I was hauling garbage to landfills, and when I would get there, it would be a 1, 2, 3 hour wait, and then come back and get preloaded. I was working like 12, 13 hours a day for $245. Eventually, another opportunity came up, worked my way up. I was local now, and I was making $300 to $350 a day, right? And then from there, I went to another job in the same industry where I was making $400 to $450 a day. So it's all about working your way up the ladder. Once you get your CDL, you work your way up the ladder. After that $450 a day job, I eventually went on to buy my own truck in that same industry, which is heavy hauling, dump trailers. And if I didn't take advantage of that first opportunity and work my way up the ladder, I wouldn't be where I am now with my own truck and all this other stuff, right? And when you first get your CDL and you start working and you do land that first job, get to know more people. When you see drivers, stop them, talk to them, get their number, ask them if their job is hiring, or what does it take to get to their job, or whatever the case may be. Make friends in the industry, and that's how you work your way up. So like I said, take the first job. If you want to get your CDL, just get up and go do it. It's nothing to it. It's not that hard. Don't worry about the money. I mean, if you could afford it, especially if you could afford it, do it. You're gonna get the money back. I know that in some states, there's some programs where the government may help you. They may assist you to get your CDL. And another thing is, there are also companies that would assist you to get your CDL, but you have to stay with them for a certain amount of time, or whatever the case may be. So there's ways to get your CDL without having to pay. I don't know too much about that. And also, when you do go to the school, there are also schools that help you get a job straight after getting your CDL. It might not be the greatest paying job, but the point is to get the experience. That's it. Get the experience, work your way up the ladder, and always seek better and new opportunities. You know what I mean? I could tell you that getting a CDL did change my life. Like I said, I wouldn't be where I am now if I didn't get my CDL. I was someone who went to college and all that, and I didn't even have plans of being a truck driver. I always had a passion for trucking when I was a little boy, and I would go with my brother. He was a truck driver. He still is a truck driver, and I would go with him as a little boy, and I'll say, I want to be a truck driver. I want to be a truck driver, right? And then as I got older, I'm like, what was I thinking? I want to be a truck driver. I don't want to be no truck driver. I want to go to college and get a good job, good career. And then when I got out of college, I'm like, nah, I need money. I want to be a truck driver. And I fell in love with trucks again. You know what I mean? So in most states, I believe it's 21. You got to check with your state and your local DMV. I believe your Class A, you get it at 21 years old. And 21 is a really young age. If you get it at 21 and start working at that age, I mean, you'll be doing good. I mean, in New York City, no one out of college is really making $100 grand a year. So, like I said, this is something that you could do. Where if college is not an option for you, this is another option. This is a good trade. So it might be something you want to consider. So that's all I got for today. If you want to get your CDL, stay motivated, get up, and go get it. You feel me? Anybody could do it. And if you like this hat, follow @HeavyHaulers on IG to order, or you could comment on this video to order.